It was a day. So yes, it is good to be here. I've got my coffee, got a soda. I've got my grandbaby boy Kitty peeking over right there. Of course, baby Ava's on her way over because she heard me talking. So, oh no, she's staying by the heater. It is cold. It is cold. I'll give her that. She's no dummy. She is no dummy. Hello. Look at all my green peeps. Hi, honey. Yay. I love that people are using the emojis. I love that. Oh, now she shows up. Now she wants to be a part of this. She was just waiting for the wave. Hi, honey. Far from it. This one is Miss America. Come on up, Ava. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to mute. Sorry, guys. My kiddo got her wisdom teeth pulled today, and she's miserable. And so she was just coming in to tell me she's going to bed and ask if I can make her mac and cheese tomorrow. So yeah. Her treats are in the drawer. Yeah. Oh. I guess that was her end button. She's like, my treats are in the drawer. You don't have them? Well, I'm out of here. Yeah. Puppykins. Beautiful girl. She's got the cutest puppy dog eyes. Oh, you're leaning up against mommy. They can't see that gorgeous face from down there. You've got to be up here with that face. You've got to be up here with that face. There we go. That's the face. I love you. I love you. You're a good girl. Yes. You're a good girl. I know. It breaks my heart. She's been in so much pain today. Oh, and there's like nothing I can do. I give her pain meds and the naproxen and just kind of wait for it to get better. Oh my goodness, Bonnie Andrews. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. She is Australian Shepherd and Red Bone Coonhound. And oh boy, when a stranger or somebody that I'm interested in comes around, the Coonhound comes out. I stopped being interested. Yeah, I stopped having dates because she was too much. I was frozen in shock. I didn't even I saw it and then the pedals started turning and all of a sudden I realized it and I froze. I was just shook. I didn't my brain just wouldn't catch up. Hello. Good to see you, Philip Heels, my love, and Adrian and Robert, if y'all are still there. Not Howl. She does this like Chewbacca thing where when she has to go to the bathroom or something, she's like, it's hilarious. It is hilarious. But when I get it on video, it just sounds like a growl. So it's not fair because in person, it's the funniest thing ever. And she gets so excited when she does it. I love you, sweetie. I'll be here for you as much as I can. And the whole chat is too. Hi, Tammy13, honey. I'm glad you're here tonight. Woohoo! That's awesome, guys. So if you were here for the start of last night's show, I had mentioned how on New Year's Eve, Brian Boggs' friend's bar burned down. And there was somebody living above it that was also a friend. So I put the link for the GoFundMe for each in the description and said, if anybody's able to donate, there it is. So that's the stats right now. So whoever, is contributing to that, that's awesome. You guys are amazing. I know you guys aren't the only contributors, but I also know you guys are amazing. Oh, thank you. Love you. Isn't that the truth? Man, people have failed me so many times. My animals, they love me for they don't ask for nothing. Well, they ask for treats, but they'll love me no matter what. Won't you, Earl? Won't you, Earl? You love me always. You can be a big butt. Speaking of which. Billy jumped up on the computer earlier when I was talking to someone, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of random letters just appeared. And there's Earl selecting things. Get your tail out of my face. It's Philip Heel's friend. I think actually, isn't it your son? Aha. See, I was right. I pays attention. I guess Earl is going to park it right here and be a part of this. I'm good with that. Yeah, cat butt is always close up. Hi, Chidaskadam. Good to have you here, love. Well, I know when you first set up YouTube, you can choose your name. I don't know about after. I see people changing their names, but I don't know how they do it or what they do. Hi, Ann. Oh, her name's not Annie. She's watching Annie. Hi, Chidaskadam's niece. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow. We were just singing that in the movie earlier tonight. Hi, Michelle Moreland, honey. I know I talked to you earlier, but I don't think I gave you your official wave. Oh my gosh, guys. So, yeah, I think the only reason we survived going to the oral surgeon today was because of Palmyra's coffee. I took 2 doses of that in thermoses. Yep. And that stuff kept me buzzing and awake because I needed to be. After I only got 3 hours of sleep. And I don't even know what I got tonight. Hopefully it's good. I know I have emotions hearing that is not exciting, but it's interesting. And it opens the door for 2 sides of opinions. Oh, somebody sees the cursor. Would you get off my keyboard? You're typing stuff. I'm moving the cursor around. Hey, get off there. You can still come and watch. You can still look. You just can't push the buttons, please. Mr. Earl. Mr. Earl. Hi, Salty Buddha, honey. Good to have you. Right? Thank you for keeping April alive. Oh, yes. Always keep singing. And just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Yeah, I have it. I didn't edit it. I got excited because I came across it. Oh my goodness. I came across it and I got excited because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I can't believe I just found this. And a couple hours later, everybody else had just found this too. And you know how I am. If everyone else is doing it, I'm not gonna. I want to show you guys stuff you haven't seen. But, well, I showed you. No, I wasn't going to be off. I just, I don't have a whole lot for content. Because I wasn't able to download anything, and that bothers me. I had a couple of cases that I really wanted to get the FTCs on from Judge Slay's docket and Conlon's docket specifically, and I missed them both. And then I missed like 5 things from the 13th district, and I missed everything from Florida, and I'm just like, I was trying to focus on my daughter because that was what was most important. But my phone, I've got the notifications set for certain jurisdictions and stuff. And my phone's going off. And I'm going, that's one that deletes right away. I can't get that back. Oh my God, I can't get this one. Oh my God, this. I had to stop looking at my phone because I was just getting so like brokenhearted. And it's stupid because I have hundreds of hours of cases that I haven't even gotten to watching or editing or anything, so it's like I'm not hurting for stuff to go through to find you guys stuff. But you know how I love doing the FTCs where we follow it from, every hearing I can come up with. And when I'm missing full dockets, that really cuts into that. But my baby girl was more important. Were they there when it happened? Well, unfortunately, I didn't export it, and I don't. The file type that I have it in is not compatible with my StreamYard. But maybe I'll watch it tomorrow with you guys, or I can export it on the other computer while we're watching something else. All right, guys. I'm going to play something first off. A while ago, it was asked who my favorite judge is. And I had explained that my original favorite was Judge Caprio. Remember that? We were just discussing that. I have it. I have to export it into an MP4 to be able to play it. So we'll watch it in a little bit. Oh wow, that's crazy. You're fine, and you are not. So anyways, okay, Judge Caprio. He was my original favorite. And I saw this like a little over a week ago, probably. But I kept forgetting to export it. That's the problem with watching the cases all day long. I forget what I intend on streaming because I get wrapped up into other stuff. But this is my favorite guy. I just can't run any of his cases though, because he's always done his. He was like one of the first court shows caught in Providence. And so his brother is the videographer and editor, and then he's the judge, and they've always done it like a show. And I just, I can't really stream his stuff like that, but this I'm sure he'd be okay with.
Each of you in your own way to please pray for me. One of the happiest days of the year for me is my birthday. And recently, I celebrated my 87th birthday, and I just received so many wonderful messages from people all over the world. This birthday is a little different than any other I have ever had. Quite recently, I was not feeling well and received a medical examination, and the report was not a good one. And so I have been diagnosed with cancer of the pancreas, which is an insidious form of cancer. I'm being treated by a wonderful team of doctors, both here in Rhode Island, Dr. Kadi, and at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, part of the Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts. I pray that God guides their thoughts and their hands in their treatment of me. I know the storm road, and I'm fully prepared to fight as hard as I can. One thing that people ask me is, what can I do for you? Well, first of all, I can't thank all of you enough for your friendship and your kind messages. But I would ask each of you in your own way to please pray for me. I am in need of the power of prayer, which I believe, in addition to the medical treatment that I am receiving, is the most powerful weapon to help me survive this. Just knowing you were keeping me in your thoughts means the world to me. So thank you for all of your past messages. Thank you for your loving support. And please remember just a small prayer. I really appreciate it.
I love him. I actually he used to always say that like when people would have babies, he would tell them, to name them after him. Or when they were pregnant, he would say, when the baby's born, you're gonna name it after me. And he always wanted that. That was always one of his things. I know he was joking, but I actually did. I named Crow. I gave Crow his name as Crow's middle name. And then I sent him a message on Facebook with pictures of Crow, my last kitty. And I said, this is the only baby boy I'm going to have. So I named him after you. Hi, welcome to the party. You've already been here and you didn't even know it. Oh, I haven't seen that. I love him though. He is the sweetest man. And he's been doing, like, how people send Middleton money and then Middleton uses them to give people bus passes and stuff. Judge Caprio has been paying people's fines with donations for years. He started that. Like, he even started a fund in his mother's name to be able to do that. Thank you. You know I love you. And I appreciate you. You have a good night at work tonight. I know I will. I've got the best job ever. Yes, Shane, he really is amazing. 100%. I don't know the colors. But I did get I got a $10 super sticker tonight, and I got a $10 tip jar chat. Super thanks is what I think it's called. And we got tons of these yesterday. Tons and tons of them. That's how you got yours. Oh no, Salty, you go take care of yourself, sweetie. Much love. Yep, dolphins gotcha. Dolphins got you back. Yes, Philip Heals is awesome. Thank you for gifting the memberships, Philip. I love that. You want to make a rainbow? Oh, did you see? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to miss it. Nope, I don't see it. Oh, was it last night? Yes. Oh my gosh. You did not just do that. Thank you so much, Palmyra. You are crazy and I love you. Thank you. You just like to see if you can make me cry. That's what it is. That is what it is. That's your goal. That's your goal, right? Yes. I do not deserve you. I don't deserve any of you. You're all amazing, but Palmyra, you don't even know how much I love you, man. I don't even know what to say. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And Manda. And Tim. And Adriana. I love all you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Okay, guys. We're not gonna. Ugh. Okay. The Judge Caprio clip was bad enough for making us cry. And then we got Palmyra doing it. I know. Thank you so much. I do have the best chat. I got the best people from all over the world right here. That is without a doubt. That is for sure. All over the world. Emily and I were trying to figure out how we could do a map with pins of where everybody is, but It would have to be like manually entered, and we tried thinking maybe we could like have people, go and put their location on a Google Docs form or something, and but then it wanted to collect email addresses, and I didn't want people to think I was trying to like farm their information or anything, and we don't want to make any of that public. So it was just a big risk, but it is all everybody here from all over the world. And you guys are all fantastic humans, beautiful souls. And I love every one of you, truly. Thank you, Emily. Thank you so much, my little sister. Well, you already have all my information. I'm not hard to find. He's got to work, sweetie. His schedule changed, so he's not going to be able to be here as much. He'll pop in and out as he can, but he's got to work. Aww. You're one of my favorites, Philip. All of you are my favorites, but something about that beard. They did movie night tonight. They did Sweeney Todd, and Philip got the message late. He was all kinds of mad. He was all kinds of mad that they didn't tell him specifically that they were doing Sweeney Todd. Yeah, we really thought that would be a really cool thing, but there'd be, as it stands right now, I'm almost at 1,700 subscribers. So to get 1,700 people, for one, to trust us enough, and for two, to go and put their, where they're from. And I had it set up so that was literally the only thing that they would have to type would be, their location. They could choose not to put their name in or anything else. But then there's internet people, and there's no way to know for sure if you're getting the right information, or if you're getting a troll who just is putting in all kinds of random stuff. I love that. I love that. That's what a musical is, Emily. Do I have to denounce my sistership? Just kidding. It's not for everybody. But how could you not love it? It's Johnny Depp. All right. What do I got? What do I got? What do I got?
Mr. McElroy, can you see and hear me okay, sir?
Well, now he's connecting to audio.
Hello.
Can you see and hear me okay, Mr. McElroy?
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay.
Now I can see you.
Okay. We are on the record in the state of Kansas on behalf of the Secretary for the Department for Children and Families et al. Versus Grover McElroy. The case number is Butler County 23 DM 232. The DCF appears by and through Ms. Ridgway. Mr. McElroy appears in person and pro se. This case had begun with a petition to determine parentage being filed on June 20 of this year. An accompanying child support worksheet sought support in the amount of $305 per month. It was the case that personal service was obtained on June 29. There was at a later point in July, on July 27th, a motion for determination of paternity by default. On 9/21, we were before the court. At that time, there was no objection to an answer being filed out of time. I believe at that point, Mr. McElroy was reporting that he had a very ill child. The matter was continued to October 6th. On October 6th, Mr. McElroy had explained to the court that his child indeed had passed, and the matter was continued to today's date. I had indicated at that time that any answer out of time would be due by today. I don't show that in the file. Mr. McElroy, have you attempted to file an answer in the case?
Yeah, I tried to take it up, but they said their system was down.
Yeah, that is correct, and that's certainly no fault of yours. Actually, the courts across Kansas, basically save for one county, are and have been for a little while in a difficult place with some technological challenges. Ms. Ridgway, in the circumstances, does DCF have any proposed way forward?
Mr. McElroy, I guess my question is, do you agree that you're the father of this child, or would you like genetic testing done at no cost to you?
Neither. I don't want to find out it's not mine. They waited 17 years for this, and I just lost my only son, and I just can't deal with it, be honest with you. And she told me 17 years ago in the hospital at Wesley that child was not mine. I was there when that little girl was born, and they told me that kid was not mine.
Okay.
I didn't sign the birth certificate and walked out.
So do you want us to conduct genetic testing and maybe prove that the child isn't yours? If it's not your child, I'm not asking for support.
I really don't want to be involved at all. I've had the longest last few months of my life, and I really just don't.
I sympathize with the pain that he is going through. But that girl deserves to know if you're her dad or not, because that can cause serious mental and emotional hardships on a child. She deserves to know. And I'm sorry for what you're going through, but you need to put it to the side and give her that.
Well,
I've been dealing with the child for 6 years, having stage 4 cancer. I fought every way possible, and I just lost him. And now this popped up.
I'm very sorry for that loss. I imagine it has been a very difficult time for you, and I do apologize that we're in a legal issue during this time. But while I understand you not wanting to deal with it, unfortunately, it's not an option. We have to resolve this one way or another. I can't give you legal advice that would be inappropriate because I'm on the other side. But I can tell you that if you want genetic testing, if you want us to do a DNA sample and determine whether or not this is your child, we will do that for you at no cost. And we obtain the DNA simply by swabbing the inside of your mouth with a Q-tip. A medical professional will do that. And then we send it off to a laboratory, and they determine whether or not this is your child, biological child. If it's not your biological child, then the case will be dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So would
Mr.
you,
McElroy? Oh, sorry, Ms. Ridgway, go ahead.
would you like to move forward with doing the genetic testing?
Yes, I just need a little time if that's okay.
I understand. And again, it's non-invasive. We'll just send you a letter telling you where an appointment will be, and you would go there, and somebody will swab the inside of your mouth. You'll need a photo ID. They'll take your picture, and then they'll send you on your way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And Mr. McElroy, I just do want to make sure, you had mentioned at least taking some steps towards filing an answer and learning that the system wasn't able to accept your paperwork. That may have changed along the way in as much as the courts are now accepting paperwork in much the same way it used to be filed, a hard copy of a document filed directly with the clerk's office, either brought in or mailed in. And if there's something in addition to or other than the genetic testing that you want to put into an answer, I don't want you to feel any pressure to acquiesce to the genetic testing. And at the same time, if you're telling me that we're just basically at a place where you're relying on some information from many years ago that was given to you verbally, and the state, at least to some extent, has been convinced that it might indeed be the case that you're the father of this child and you're content to settle that issue with the genetic test, I'm happy to order that as well. I just don't want you to feel, especially in a moment where your strength is a little bit at an end, and when you're contending with all of the things you're contending with concerning the loss of your son, that you're feeling hurried along on this deal, because it makes a difference what will happen in this case. And if you're content to go ahead and just take the genetic tests and kind of let the chips fall where they may, I'm happy to order that. If you're otherwise wanting to submit an answer, I'm happy to give you a chance to do that as well. It's entirely up to you.
And yes, sir. And yeah, I'm willing to do it. Like I told her, I just need a little extra time trying to get my ducks in a row here. Still, everything's been kind of on the fly for the last couple weeks.
Miss Ridgway, if we were to set a date certain to reconvene on February the 2nd of next year at 2:00 in the afternoon, and if we were to order that the genetic testing take place sometime after the middle of December, do you think that that would work in terms of the necessary time? Would you rather put off setting any return date until the tests are taken and the results are known? Or I'm just wanting to minister to Mr. McElroy's request that there be a little bit of breathing room for him in his life before he's responsible to show up and take this test.
No, absolutely. I agree. If we wait until after, say, December 15th to schedule him for testing, I would prefer that we have an early March court date, just to ensure that those test results are back. If I get them back prior to the hearing date and they are negative, I will move forward with the motion to dismiss.
All right. Well, so
And I just have one other question.
yes, sir.
So on paying anything, sir and ma'am, I don't get to work or anything. I'm on straight SSI. I'm on full disability right now. I had a heart attack like 2 days after my son died.
You have been working
No,
part-time.
I haven't worked in over almost 2 years.
Okay.
I'm on full disability, and I got told 3 weeks ago that I am not able to go back to work at all or anything. I'm straight on disability.
Okay. Well, then I would need to recalculate the child support amount, and it would probably be quite a bit lower than the 305 it currently is anticipated to be.
Yeah, I barely get $900 a month, and it pays all my rent.
Yeah, I think you're getting $1,171 a month, but they may take out some taxes.
Okay. But yeah, I'm willing to do whenever. If you guys can let me know when to go schedule this.
The way I'm going to order this, Mr. McElroy, and if you have any qualms or any concerns, jump in. But my intention is to order that this testing occur after December 15 of 2023, that the matter is set over to March 1, 2024 at 2:00 in the afternoon, and with the expectation that if the test indeed does not show you to be the father, that I could expect a dismissal without prejudice by DCF of the petition in this case.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Ridgway, have I accurately summarized that, and has the timetable set forth seemingly been one that works for you?
Yes,
Okay.
Judge, it does.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. McElroy. You should expect some paperwork and some contact to get the testing done after December 15th.
And
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Judge, I'm sorry. I know you said the court date and I failed to write it down.
I
March
believe
what?
March 1.
Okay.
And if that is crowding it a little bit too hard, I also have March 15th as an option.
If we could do March 15th.
Okay, we'll do
Thank
that.
I'm with her.
March
Okay.
15th at 2:00. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. McElroy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.
Hi, Eva Cross, my lurker. You're not a lurker no more. Thank you so much for your support. Even if I haven't exactly known it's there, I do appreciate it. Yeah, with that case, that one hits hard because of a sibling of mine having a similar situation. So I know the effect that it can have. So I care less about the child support than about the child knowing that that's her dad or not. And, you know, he said he just lost his son to cancer. What if it's a genetic form? Like, that stuff's important. Hello. Thank you for popping in. I love when you stop and say hi. Hey, Queen Purple, honey. Good to see you, love. Queen Purple, make sure you go into your settings and make it so that you can accept gifts. It was raining memberships last night. Philip Heels made it rain a little bit more today. It's just been a storm. It's been a storm of memberships around here. Because you guys are the best. Yeah, next thing you know, we're going to have her in the Discord singing along with the musicals. Those are always fun. I don't get to attend a whole lot of them, but I do like when I'm able to because I let it run while I edit. And that's helpful. All right. This is the one that I was saying that it's not super exciting, but it is interesting, and it will allow for people to express their opinions. And the only thing that I ask is that you express your opinions in a respectful manner.
All right, good afternoon. At this time, I will call the matters concerning people of the state of Colorado and Enrique Duran Mar, 21 CR 308, 21 CR 307, 21 CR 1984. Excuse me, Mr. Duran Mar appears today in custody in person before the court with his lawyer, Mr. Ray. I have Mr. Perelia appearing on behalf of the prosecution. Mr. Duran Mar is assisted today by the Spanish interpreter. Mr. Duran Mar, are you able to hear and understand me with the assistance of the Spanish interpreter?
Sí, escucho y entiendo perfectamente con ayuda del intérprete.
Great, thank you. At any time, if anyone is speaking too quickly, either you or the interpreter can interrupt anybody to make sure that you are able to understand us. We are scheduled today for motions hearing in 21 CR 308 with the two other matters trailing for status. I did receive and review the motion to suppress that was filed by the defense, as well as the motions hearing brief filed by the prosecution. Are the people ready to proceed today?
Yes, Your Honor, but I think it makes sense first to frame the argument because
Okay.
we're really dealing with a fairly limited issue. If I understand Mr. Ray correctly, I just want to make sure we're on the same page for the testimony.
Okay,
So my understanding, and Mr. Ray, I'm sure will correct me if I'm at all wrong on this, is that he is not contesting the original arrest or the probable cause finding that Detective Maury did in the original case. He is not contesting the fact that probable cause was found on that case by Judge Unfug. He is not contesting the motion to dismiss without prejudice. He is simply contesting the ability for law enforcement to rearrest. And so I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that before we even proceed.
great. Mr. Ray?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So I think with that, what I can do is take judicial notice specifically in case 20 CR 589, that there was an affidavit in support of warrantless arrest that was signed. Was that Detective Maury?
Yes.
But, okay, it's hard, it looks, okay. Well, I'm taking judicial notice of the affidavit that was filed in 20 CR 589, that Judge Unfug did make a finding of probable cause in that case, that there was a motion to dismiss without prejudice that was signed by Judge Quammen on April 6th of 2020.
And I guess then that leads me to ask the court if you believe testimony is necessary when 16.3.102 1C very clearly outlines the fact that a person may be arrested.
Mr. Ray, let me hear your argument about whether or not testimony is necessary, or whether this is just something that the parties can make legal argument on.
Well, I think very clearly testimony is necessary for several reasons, one of which is that if people have put in their pack of exhibits, a document, Exhibit 11, which is undated, Officer Maury certainly needs to testify as to when that was sent out and how it was sent out and whether or not it was in existence on February the 10th of 2021, under what authority he sent that out.
So I suppose we can take testimony. I do have Exhibit 11. It's not sworn testimony. I do see a date on there, February 10th of 2021, with a timestamp 4:15:42 a.m.
That's when it was withdrawn. That's when his alleged authorization for the defendant to be picked up was withdrawn.
So you're saying the highlighted portion of that, you're seeking testimony about?
Yeah, when it was sent out, how it was sent out, and what authority it was sent out.
Okay.
I'm happy to take limited testimony on that. I will note that that information, after speaking to Mr. Ray, was found and Officer Maury's supplement number 4, which is bait stamp page 98 and 99. I can outline that for the court. If you'd like testimony, I'd also ask that the court accept the exhibits as stated in the motion, and then we can just simply ask him as to Exhibit 11, and I can do that very briefly.
Any objection to my taking notice of the exhibits that were filed?
No, I don't have a problem with the exhibits that were filed, although I would like the court to also take notice in the 20 CR 589 case that the defendant was not only arrested, but he was required to appear for picking up paperwork, and he was required to go to pretrial services. The appearance bond, and ask the court to take judicial notice of that.
That's fine. I will take judicial notice of the appearance bond from 20 CR 589. It looks like that was posted on March 6th of 2020. And I've already taken judicial notice of the dismissal. He did appear on March 16th to pick up charges. It was then dismissed on April 6th before he had to appear in court additionally, but I will take judicial notice of that. All right, since we have the officers here, why don't we hear testimony on that? So the people may call their first, I'm sorry, I asked the people if they were ready to proceed. Mr. Ray, are you ready to proceed?
Well, I am, but I also want testimony from the officer about why, when he contacted the defendant 2 weeks before this incident, he didn't arrest him then if there was, in fact, a notice out there for the defendant to be arrested. That's not this officer, it's his second officer.
Court needs that, I'm happy to provide it. I just wanted to frame the issue. I don't think it makes a difference from a legal standpoint, to be very clear, but let's take testimony.
Okay. All right, officer, I'll have you come take a seat right here in this chair below the clock and television stand. Once you're there, I'll have you raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Great, thank you. You may be seated. Once you've had a seat, I'll have you start by stating your name and spelling your first and last name for the record.
It's Detective Michael Morey, Michael Moree.
Great, thank you. Mr. Perelia?
Thank you. Sir, how are you employed?
Oh, at the City of Greeley Police Department.
In what capacity?
Currently a detective. I was previously a patrol officer before that.
And so as to the events that we'd be dealing with in this limited hearing, is it fair to say you were in the patrol capacity for that?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, I want to just briefly outline that you are specifically the officer that pertains to 20 CR 589, which would be your GPD case number 20G20088.
Correct.
And sir, you were actually who arrested the defendant based on probable cause in that case.
Yes.
And provided a warrantless arrest affidavit that you've now heard that the court has taken judicial notice of and then was ultimately dismissed. Is that fair?
Correct.
Now, sir, as it pertains to your training and experience, is it fair to say that you know that there are different ways that you can go about arresting somebody?
Yes.
And specifically is one by having a warrant authorized by a judge.
Correct.
And is the other that you know that you can do that without a warrant if you have probable cause for the arrest?
Correct.
Is it fair to say that in this case, each time that you have done that without a warrant as it pertains to the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. Now, sir, at a certain point in that case, and for the court's, I guess,
I do apologize. There may be some learning for some of you involved with this case. Sorry. It happens here.
Identification, I'd be dealing with exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the warrantless arrest affidavit, the complaint and information, the motion to dismiss, and then the order granting the motion to dismiss. Ultimately, were you notified that that case was dismissed and was no longer pending?
Correct, I was.
Okay. And then at a later time, did you receive an email from then Chief Deputy District Attorney Carrasco stating the reasons why?
I did.
Okay. And all
If that isn't the pot calling the kettle black, Mr. Just Got Back.
although she said that charges weren't filed, they actually were, and then they were dismissed. But ultimately, she said now she's ready and gave her reason why. Is that fair?
Yes.
And did you learn that it was because this defendant was part of a larger wiretap investigation that was ongoing?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, sir, going back to Exhibits 7 and 8, she requested that you write an affidavit for arrest in order and go that route in order of getting the defendant arrested. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. And then you actually drafted that affidavit and sent it over to the DA's office on November 13th of 20. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Okay. As it pertains to your Exhibit 11, and I don't know if you have that in front of you. Well, let's take one step back. When you send over that affidavit to our office, did you also tell all sworn law enforcement with your agency that you had probable cause to arrest?
Yes.
Now, tell the court why you do both, because on one hand, you have a track of getting the defendant arrested through a warrant, and on the other hand, you're telling all officers you have probable cause to arrest.
Correct.
Okay. Why do you do that?
So the process of submitting a warrant or a warrant request to the district attorney's office can usually take anywhere from a couple days to a few months to get that warrant all the way through the system and approved and become an active warrant. You also send an email to all of Greeley police personnel advising there's probable cause to arrest the defendant in case the defendant is contacted before the active arrest warrant is in CCIC and NCIC.
Okay. So for example, in this scenario, you send it over and it did take months before charges were filed.
Correct.
And so if you didn't go the route of also telling your fellow officers that you have probable cause, is it fair to say that they would contact them and then they wouldn't be arrested?
Correct.
And you'd keep waiting for the DA's office?
Yes.
Which clearly can take a while.
Sometimes.
Okay. And so to go back to this Exhibit 11 that we've talked about, there's really two parts, and yours is highlighted in the middle. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Do you have that with you, sir?
I do.
Now, if you look at Exhibit 11, it looks like you write that middle email that is highlighted in yellow.
Yes.
And when would that have been, sir?
On November 13th.
And sir, is that documented in your report as well?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm sorry, November 13th of 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And so would that have been the same day that you actually sent the affidavit over on Exhibit 9 for the court?
Correct.
Okay, so again, we have these two tracks going, and essentially whoever's the fastest wins.
Yes.
Okay? And so ultimately, that would have been in the system as of what'd you say?
November 13th.
November 13th of 2020.
Yes.
Okay. And then on the top part of Exhibit 11, we have Sergeant John Baker emailing out to all sworn law enforcement as well as to the DA's office that the defendant was picked up by Officer Zong today.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Correct.
And why is that?
That's to advise all the officers within the Greeley Police Department that the defendant was arrested on these charges, and also advise the district attorney's office that they can stop the process of making the warrant request an active warrant as the defendant was picked up and taken to jail on those charges.
So that way, Ms. Carrasco, in this case, wouldn't have to file those charges the next day if that was on her to-do list.
Correct.
Okay. I think those are my questions at this time, Your Honor.
And I just want to make sure I'm seeing motion 10 is the new affidavit that he submitted.
That would have been the signed affidavit to the DA's office, and 12 would have been the warrantless affidavit for the case, the new case, which would have been identical to 20 CR 589. Warrantless, which was number 1, if that makes sense.
And I think that was just the one follow-up I wanted to ask before I turn it to you, Mr. Ray. Detective Morey, from your perspective, the warrantless arrest affidavit that you had initially written back on March 6th of 2020, and then the affidavit that you drafted for the district attorney's office on November 13th of 2020, were there any substantial differences between those?
The only thing that would be different would be that last paragraph in the second warrant request, just highlighting that the district attorney's office originally did not want to file charges, but everything else in the facts of the affidavit is the same.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ray, whenever you're ready.
So Officer Morey,
I'll be right back. I gotta let Billy in. He's rowing really loud and pawing at the door.
when you arrested the defendant the first time, you put him in jail, right?
Yes, sir.
And yet that was based on
Never
your
mind.
belief of probable cause, correct?
Correct.
As set forth in your affidavit, correct?
Yes.
And in the new affidavit, after he was arrested, nothing changed of the facts other than your last paragraph, correct?
Yes.
There wasn't any further investigation in this case, correct?
No, there was not.
And so you, upon your own, took it up to put out that you had probable cause to his arrest, even though he'd been arrested for probable cause, right?
Yes.
The DA didn't authorize that, did she?
The DA requested me to submit the warrant request for an active arrest warrant for the original charges.
And she didn't request that you put something out there telling the other officers to arrest him on probable cause, correct?
The district attorney's office didn't specifically ask me to send the email in Exhibit 11. That's just a practice within the Greeley Police Department, so other officers are aware.
When cases have been dismissed.
Whenever there is probable cause or you're submitting a warrant request for an individual, you would send out the email to the police, the whole police
So
department.
you have some belief that you have a right to have somebody arrested even though they've already been arrested on probable cause. Is that correct?
Yes,
Where do you get that from?
because there's still probable cause that the crime did occur.
But that's already been ruled on, hasn't it?
Well, Judge, we took notice that it was dismissed without prejudice.
Right, I think what you're asking for is a legal question. I don't know that this witness can answer that.
Did you ever receive any notice that a warrant had been issued on that old case?
No, sir.
And the charges in the old case, the new charges in the old case weren't filed until after he was arrested on February the 10th, 2021, correct?
On the second arrest?
Yes.
Yes, he was arrested on February 10th.
And then charges were filed, right?
I believe so.
And why is there no date on the email that you sent out?
I'm not 100% sure, but my understanding would be that the email coming from Sergeant John Baker would just be a reply to all sworn personnel and the DA's office, and that it just copied my original email. I don't know why there wouldn't be a date on my original email in that reply.
Wouldn't there normally be a date on an email?
I'm not an expert in Outlook, so I don't know how that works when you reply to a couple month old email.
I notice you have the birth date in there of 2/5/20. Correct? In that email you sent?
Yes.
Where'd you get that birth date?
That is a typo, and the 20 is obviously not the correct year of the birthday.
It's not the correct year?
No, the
Oh,
defendant
the
was,
20? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not 3 years old.
Well, you also know that the way that email is written is the way they do it in Mexico, the day first and then the month and then the year.
Correct.
So you were asking the officers to go out and arrest somebody who was 3 years old, correct?
From that email, it appears so.
But if the officers checked the name, they would find it out who you were really looking for. Is that right?
Correct.
No matter what the birth date said.
If you, at that time with our current, or with the CAD system that we were using, you could just search a name and it would pull up individuals with that name and their associated wants and flags on their files.
So in 2 weeks before February the 10th, this email would have been out there with all your officers, correct?
Yes.
And it would have been just like it's written here.
Yes,
But any of your officers would know you're not looking for a 3-year-old, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any follow-up, Mr. Pralia?
Just briefly. Sir, you had that filing decision from Ms. Carrasco, which was People's Motion Hearing 8. Is that fair?
Yes.
Was it clear to you, based on that email, that now that the wiretap investigation has concluded, she was ready to file the charges in that case?
That is correct.
And so is it your assumption that the DA's office only gets ready to file charges when they have probable cause or believe a reasonable likelihood of conviction?
Yes.
Exactly what his assumption is.
To go back, sir, to your supplement number 4, do you have that in front of you?
I do.
In your supplement number 4, which is Discovery Bait Stamp 98 and 99, I want to walk through this because this really puts everything together. In your second paragraph, it says you received information from the DA's office and you were requested that they're now ready, or they told you that they're now ready to pursue charges.
Correct.
Bless you. Then it says, I then completed a warrant request affidavit for Duran Marr for the original that included the original date of the incident. Fair?
Fair.
And it includes a copy of the warrant request affidavit, and you forwarded that affidavit over to the DA's office.
Yes.
And you did that.
Correct.
And then right below that, in that paragraph, which is the subject of Exhibit 11, it says, I also sent out a department-wide email to all of the Greeley Police Department personnel advising there was probable cause to arrest Duran Marr.
Correct.
Yeah. And then finally, you have an important paragraph where it says, at this time, the status of the case will be reopened pending the arrest of Duran Marr, or a warrant will be issued for his arrest.
Yes.
So right there, you outline the two options.
Correct.
And again, throughout this entire process, you have had.
That statement that there are two processes, Your Honor. There's no legal authority for that.
Okay, well, again, I think this comes down to a legal decision that I will need to make, but I think the question about whether he was pursuing two options is a fair question. So you can answer that. Were you always pursuing these two different options?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Those are my questions. Unless the court has additional questions for
I
this
do not
witness.
have any additional questions.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ray, do you have anything additional at this time?
Not of him.
All right, thank you. May Detective Morey be released?
He's my advisory, so if you
Okay.
can.
All right, Detective Morey, why don't you go have a seat back at the table with Mr. Paralia? And Mr. Paralia, you may call your next witness.
The people would call Detective Zone.
Billy, you can't have those. Those are the dog's treats. I just gave you your treat. Billy. He's really trying to get at that bag, y'all. Oh my goodness. Look at this big chunker. Big old chonker butt. All right, get down.
Great. Good afternoon, Detective Zong. I'll have you come take a seat in that chair below the clock and television stand. All right, once you're there, I'll have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, or nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may have a seat. Once you've had a seat, I'll have you start by stating your first and last name and spelling each of those for the record.
First name of Andy, A-N-D-I. Last name of Zong Liscum, Z-O-N-G -L-I-S-C-U-M.
Thank you. Mr. Perlia?
Thank you. How are you employed, sir?
I am employed with the Greeley Police Department as a sworn officer.
Okay. What was your specific assignment as it would pertain to this traffic stop as well as then the arrest based on probable cause as it pertained to Investigator Maury?
During that time, I was assigned to patrol with the Greeley Police Department.
Okay. And is it fair to say that as it pertains to the original case of 20 CR 589, that you didn't have any involvement of that? That was just probable cause for Detective Maury?
You're referencing Marie's case?
Yes. Just
Yeah, I had no involvement in that case.
Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit because the defense is going to ask you questions as it pertains to 21T 645. Is it fair to say that you had a contact with the defendant in a traffic stop?
I'm not as familiar with the 21T. Is that I did have contact with him on a traffic stop. That is correct.
Okay. And isn't it fair to say that you were actually reminded about that from the defendant when you arrest him later? And he said, you just had a traffic stop with me a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is correct.
All right. So now does that kind of jog your memory a little bit?
Correct.
All right. And sir, I had provided some exhibits and two of those were specifically a summons for that traffic case. Do you recall that?
I do recall that.
And is it fair to say that on that summons that was issued to the defendant that you wrote the date of birth as being May 2nd, 1994?
Correct.
Is it fair to say in reviewing all these cases together that the defendant's date of birth is actually February 5th, 1994?
Correct.
Okay. And at the time of that traffic stop, is it fair to say had you ran the right date of birth, you would have seen that there was a PC arrest for Detective Maury?
Had I known the right date of birth, that is correct if that flag was in the system.
Okay. Now, moving towards this actual case, going on on February 10th,
Heaven forbid officers be human and allowed to be able to make simple clerical errors like that.
2021, were you on routine patrol?
Correct.
And can you describe what you were doing near the area of the Clarion Hotel?
I was on the area of 8th Avenue, and I observed a truck driving through the Clarion Hotel. It was just after midnight. I don't remember the exact speed. I just remember that the truck was driving faster than what seemed reasonable through the parking lot. Based on information I had of Clarion, I drove over and ran the rear license plate on that Ford truck.
Okay. And sir, based on that, did it come back with a Spillman hit?
Correct. Our old CAD system of Spillman That license plate was attached to what we had was a local file. And that local file returned for Enrique with the other date of birth, which upon researching into that local file, it shows PC to arrest.
Okay. And did it also have a booking photo?
Correct.
And were you able to identify that the person whose booking photo was in that case was the same individual you just saw driving?
I hadn't initially seen him driving. I saw him get out and come out from the
Okay.
driver door area.
Or walking away from?
Yeah, I made several observations, but it was the observations of that male were the same person I observed in the booking photo.
And is that the same person you see in the courtroom today?
Correct, behind you in the orange shirt.
Your Honor, I'd ask that the record reflect identification subject to cross.
It shall. Thank you.
So, sir, at that time, do you start, I guess, researching in your system the defendant?
I do.
Okay. And what did you find in your system at that time?
I researched into the case, and I researched into that flag and the defendant. And through reading that, I understood there still was that at one point the defendant had been arrested, but now there were charges. There's probable cause existing today, being that February 10th, that there was now probable cause to arrest him on charges stemming from that case.
Okay. And, sir, to just clarify that, you knew he had been arrested
Previously had been arrested at one point.
and that was based on probable cause.
Correct.
And then were you able to research in looking at Officer Maury's report that the DA's office had originally declined to go forward with the case, but now was asking that he be rearrested?
Correct.
And at that point, did you see again that there was probable cause to arrest based on your own agency putting that flag in the system?
Correct.
Okay. And sir, did you even go to further steps of asking your sergeant, Sergeant Dice, to review that case to make sure?
Yes, it was an interesting situation, so I did reach out to the supervisor for review.
I am wide awake. I am petting Billy, and I'm currently fighting with Billy over my keyboard because he seems to think that he should be allowed to step on the keypad, and it's pushing buttons and selecting things. No, it didn't come, honey. It hasn't come yet. I'm sorry. Oh, I'll check the front porch. Sometimes they put it on the front porch, even though... Oh, okay. I will check the front porch. They're supposed to bring it to the top of the handicap ramp because it's a wheelchair ramp, but sometimes they put it on the front porch. But I will check. Yeah, see, I am not drunk. I am not preoccupied. I am just feline occupied. I tilted the computer down, the monitor, so that the camera was on him so y'all could see him. Was it? No, it wasn't. I can see this. See? Nah. You. I love you, Stephanie. Yeah, I'm just being April. That is the absolute truth, Beach Bum. Yep. A dog, you can feed it, pet it, and play with it, and it says, "You must be God." And a cat, you feed it, pet it, and play with it, and it says, "I must be God." All right. I'm gonna go look and see if Ava's present came.
Okay. And based on that review, was it told, yes, there is PC to rearrest?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Sir, then can you describe what happened next?
The mail eventually comes back out to the vehicle. Enrique, and I recognize him and I make contact with him. After this contact, he does provide identification. And eventually I place him into custody.
Okay. So at that point, did you verify that all of the dates and birth were correct
Correct.
for the local want
Correct.
from your agency?
Correct.
Okay. And then at that point, did you search him incident to arrest?
I did.
And can you describe to the court during your search incident to arrest what was found on the defendant's person?
I don't remember the exact denominations, but there's approximately somewhere between $2,000 to $2,500 in cash.
Okay. Would it refresh your memory if you said that you noticed he had $2,310 wrapped up in a bundle in his front left pocket in denominations of 100, 50, 20, 10s, 5, and 1s?
That sounds correct.
Okay. And you also noted that the defendant had keys to the F-150 on him.
That is correct. There's keys on in one of his pockets.
Okay. And is it fair to say that you also discovered that the defendant had multiple cell phones on him?
Correct.
I'm going to object to this. I don't see what relevancy it has, whether or not he had a right to arrest my client.
Mr. Perelia,
Well, I guess, are we just doing the limited basis?
my understanding is we're just talking about the initial contact.
Okay. I mean, it's another case where we already have him, but if you want me to stop now, I can, and we'll call him
I
back.
don't think this motion is pending before me right now, so I don't know that I need to make a decision about a search incident to arrest.
Okay. We'll stop it here. We'll call you later.
Okay.
The defense may have some cross-examination for you. Thank you. Mr. Ray?
So Officer Zone Liscombe, when you stopped the defendant on January the 25th and cited him into court, did you go on your computer and try to find wants and that sort of thing?
I would have I was provided to my memory, a Mexican identification card, and I ran that information into the system.
Well, did that have a birth date on it?
It did have a birth date on it.
And is that the birth date you used?
Sometimes on the Mexican identification cards, the month or day is listed separate.
Around, right?
Correct.
The month is, they put the day first, so if it was 5/2 in the United States, it would be 2/5 there, correct?
Correct, and I may have ran it in backwards.
Well, it wasn't anything he said to you, was it?
I don't remember.
Would you be surprised to know that his birthday is 5/2/94?
At that time or today? Or
Not right now. Would you be surprised to know that?
yes, now that I'm aware of it, no.
So his birthday is 5/2/94 in the United States, 2/5/94 in Mexico. But you ran the birth date that was on his Mexican ID, correct?
I believe that's what I ran, yeah.
Well, no matter what birthday you ran, it would bring up any people with this name, if any charges or anything, or it doesn't matter what the birthday is, does it?
I can't speak exactly for the algorithms. I know that what returned that day did not return for probable cause or a want.
For probable, so you didn't get anything saying there was a reason to arrest him? Is that because that wasn't out there at that time?
It either wasn't out there or did not return from the system under what I had been running that day.
So if in fact it was out there, it should have been something that you would have seen, correct?
Dependent on the date of birth and the algorithm that Spillman would have used, would depend on what would have returned.
Okay, so when you said you checked, did you get the email that Maury had sent out to all officers about having probable cause to arrest?
Which email exactly?
Well, you said you learned that somehow that there was a want for him on probable cause, right?
I'm just trying to understand, at the time of the traffic stop or
Traffic stop.
that I was aware at the time of the traffic stop that there was a want to arrest him?
Right.
I may have seen it in an email, I just may not have recognized it for that same incident.
Well, if you saw it, wouldn't you have questioned the defendant about it further?
Depending on when that email came out and the amount of emails that I received, I may not have remembered that email to the exact incident of the traffic stop.
So, but on the 10th of February, when you arrested the defendant, did you in fact see the email then?
At that time, I would have been researching it because of the situation, and then I would have noted the email.
Approach the witness.
Yes, you may. Can you show Mr. Perelia? Exhibit 11, yes.
I'd like you to look at Exhibit 11. That's what Officer Maury has testified that he put out.
Okay.
Email you would have been acting on?
At the February incident at Clarion,
Yes.
this email I would have seen along with what was in Spillman.
Hey, did you happen to notice the date of birth of the person you were looking for?
Are you referencing on this email? Yeah, I see now on the email here.
Did you notice it at the time?
I guess I didn't notice that exact date on here at the time.
No, just Colorado.
So are you saying right now that you did check on the 25th of January to see if there were any wants or anything for this defendant, correct?
With the date of birth that I was using on the traffic stop.
And this email that I've just shown you, Exhibit 11, did not come up, is that correct?
The email would not have come up through our CAD system at all.
If there was a want for him, why wouldn't it?
The email is a whole separate system from the CAD system that we would be using.
Or would someone have come up saying he's wanted
Yes, in our CAD system.
and it didn't?
What I had entered did not return for a want in our CAD system. I would have relied on the CAD system over an email.
By the way, when you approached him in the vehicle, he wasn't the only person in the vehicle, was he?
On which incident?
And I'm sorry, February 10th, 21.
The Clarion stop? Yeah, we eventually found a second person in the vehicle.
Didn't you also see a female walk into the hotel with him?
Hi.
Is this relevant for today?
Why is this relevant for
Well,
today?
probably not, but he went into that.
Girl.
So I
Well,
just,
that I stopped him, so I'm
Okay.
going to stop you too.
that's okay. I'll be stopped.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other questions relevant to the motion pending before me today?
No.
All right. Mr. Perelia, any follow-up?
All right, sir. Do you have People's Exhibit 5 in front of you?
Is that my state summons? Okay. Yeah, I have it.
You have that?
Yeah, I do have
You
it
can
here.
look. All right. Sir, let's just make this very simple. On January 25th, 21, when you made that traffic stop, do you believe that the date of birth you would have ran would have been 5/2/94?
Yes.
And do you believe that that would have been what you put in your system to look for local wants and warrants?
Yes.
And again, at that time, when you put that in, is it fair to say that you did not see any local wants or warrants?
That is correct.
In other words, you didn't see that there was a PC warrant and choose not to arrest.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. And then in going back to the February 10th, 2021 incident, is it fair to say that when you were searching the defendant incident to his arrest and dealing with the vehicle, that the defendant made certain statements to you, specifically referencing that you had stopped him a couple weeks ago where he was just given a ticket and essentially let go?
Correct.
Okay. And is it fair to say that you had to go back and actually look at that case to figure that out?
Correct.
And is it fair to say that in your report that you said, I later located this case number under Spillman where I did in fact issue a summons for driving without a license to Enrique, where he was possibly providing me with a false date of birth during that time? And then you reference that 21G 6401.
Correct.
And is it fair to say then on that night, all of the information that you were running led you to compare and contrast the different dates of birth for the defendant?
Correct.
And is it fair to say on the date that you ran it on February 10th, 2021, that is what led you to see that there were local wants and warrants based on the probable cause of Detective Maury for the defendant's arrest?
That is correct.
Is that why you arrested him?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Ray, any follow-up based on that?
No, not on that, Your Honor.
Thank you. May Detective Zong be released from his subpoena?
He may.
Thank you. Detective Zong, you're excused with the thanks of the court. We appreciate your time and testimony today. I don't know if those are your copies of exhibits or Mr. Pirelli's.
These are all my copies.
Great,
Your
okay,
Honor.
then you can keep those. Thank you. Mr. Pirelli, would you like to call any additional witnesses today?
Well, I guess it doesn't make sense. I had subpoenaed Detective Jackson because the motion included statements from this arrest, but we stopped it before the search of the vehicle. So I guess we'd have to call him another time because we've stopped short with.
Right. Well, and I guess I understand that the motion was a bit broader from what we discussed at the beginning of the hearing, Mr. Ray. I understand we're just talking about whether it was proper to contact and arrest Mr. Duran Marr. I don't know that we need to get into any searches or statements today. We're not set for trial yet. I understood this to be a threshold matter. The parties wanted litigated prior to setting for trial.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Then I apologize for you having all the officers here, but I think you can release him at this time if he's not relevant to these particular issues.
Yeah, you can tell him sorry.
Okay. All right. So then the people don't have any other witnesses for this issue. Mr. Ray, would you like to call any witnesses for this issue before the court?
I wouldn't call any witnesses, but I'd ask the court to take judicial notice of, in 21 CR 1984, the affidavit filed, which shows the defendant's date of birth to be 5/2/94.
I guess we can take judicial notice of his date of birth in every case, but I don't think that's necessarily true.
Right. I think, hang on.
The defendant to the stand for limited purpose of establishing his date of birth.
Okay.
I'm not requiring that. I'm just telling the court, I think there are multiple different births associated with this defendant in the criminal histories.
So what I can say is that in 21 CR 1984, in our system, we're showing May 2nd of 1991. In 21 CR 308, our system is showing February 5th of 1994. In 21 CR 307, we're showing a date of birth February 5th of 1994. If you want to call your client for the limited purpose of stating his birthday, you're welcome to do that.
I'll do that.
All right. Mr. Duran Marr, when you're ready, I'll have you go take a seat in that chair right below the clock and television
From here,
stand.
Your Honor?
That's fine.
you can do it
Deputies,
from
this is going to be limited, so Mr. Duran Marr, I'll just have you stay where you are.
It sounds like part of the problem is the formatting of the Mexican ID is different from the formatting of how the United States has their IDs. And it was a just an error. It was an error on the officer's part that the birthday got inputted wrong. It was an error in the system that it had been wrong apparently a few times. And I don't think it was necessarily an error on the defendant's part with the birthday. I don't think he was trying to intentionally deceive anyone. And I don't think he would have noticed that his birthday was wrong in any capacity like that. So, yeah, this is a very interesting case. Now, did he deserve to be arrested? Well, he had, there was probable cause for an arrest, and they were waiting on a warrant. So whether he was arrested for the birthday thing or whether he was arrested for the probable cause thing in whatever the other matter is, he would have been arrested either way. So I think that part's fair.
Can I have you raise your right hand, please? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Great, thank you. Sir, you can put your hand down. Please make sure you speak into the microphone, and I'll need the interpreter to speak into the microphone as well. Can you please start by telling me your first and last name?
Enrique Durán Mar.
Enrique Durán Mar.
Thank you. Mr. Ray?
And sir, what is your date of birth?
2 de mayo de 1994.
May 2nd, 1994.
Okay.
And in Mexico, how would you give your date of birth?
2 de mayo de 1994.
May 2nd, 1994.
Would you use the month first or the date first?
El día primero.
The day first.
Okay.
And further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Prelio, do you have any cross-examination based on that?
Yeah.
In America, do you give your date of birth verbally or do you provide an identification card?
Tengo una identificación. Tenía una identificación.
I have an ID. I had an ID.
Do you have different IDs?
No, solo tengo una.
No, I just have one.
Those are my questions.
Esas son mis preguntas.
Y es la misma que he utilizado en los 3 arrestos.
And it's the same one that I have used for my 3 arrests.
Okay. Mr. Ray, do you have any additional questions?
I don't.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Ray, do you have any additional witnesses that you would like to call?
I do not.
Right, any rebuttal witnesses by the people?
No.
All right, then at this time, evidence is closed. Mr. Perelia, would you like to make argument first or reserve for rebuttal?
I'd ask to reserve. Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, Mr. Ray, whenever you're ready.
May I do it from here?
Yes.
Well, Your Honor, the problem in this case is that the officers, or maybe the Greeley Police Department, thinks that they can arrest somebody on probable cause for the same fact situation with nothing added to it, even though the district attorney indicated to the officers they needed to have a warrant. They had to get an affidavit for a warrant. It is very clear that the district attorney believed they needed the warrant, or they would have just said, hey, I want this guy arrested, go out and arrest him. I don't think they can do that. I think they know they can't do that. It's interesting to note in the people's brief that they filed, the cases they cited, in all of those cases, as I read the cases, they all refiled charges and then had the defendant arrested on a warrant. They did not have the officers go out and say, well, I had probable cause almost a year ago and I have probable cause now. There's nothing in any case law that I could find that says the officers may arrest somebody, put them in jail, make them bond out, make them go to pretrial services and dismiss the case and then come back and say, well, I still have the same probable cause. I think the due process would require, Your Honor, that they go through the process of obtaining a judge to see whether or not they would issue a warrant. I also think in the affidavit, they'd have to put in the facts to the court that the defendant had been previously arrested and had been, the case had been dismissed without prejudice. I think they would have to do that also. I'm asking the court to find that the Greeley Police Department did not have any right to put out something saying to arrest this defendant. What it basically is a police officer issue no warrant for the defendant's arrest. They don't have authority to do that. And even the district attorney knew that because she asked for an affidavit for a warrant. I don't know where they're getting, it takes 2 months or 3 months to get a warrant, but that's neither here nor there. They had no lawful authority to arrest my client on that day. And the other problem I have, Judge, is on the Exhibit A, there's no date on them when that was issued. It is really strange that Officer Liscombe, when he contacted the defendant and ran his name, he wouldn't find anything on the name. That's just strange, because if that document was out there in the Greeley Police Department computer system, he certainly should have, according to the previous witness, who says, yeah, if you just put in the name, you get anything under that name. It doesn't matter what the date of birth is. So I am suspect that that was not in even out there on the 25th of January. And that's why Officer Liscombe didn't see it. But even if it were, Judge, there's no authority under the law for the officers to arrest somebody twice on the same probable cause without a warrant.
I'm just looking up one date and then I will be ready for your response.
I just asked for what authority was cited. Like, what actually states that we cannot do that? What rule?
Due process of law.
What rule is that?
It's the Colorado Constitution and the U.S. Constitution.
I'm just asking to be able to respond.
Well, I think he's told you the basis of his authority. Are you citing to anything more specific than that, Mr. Ray? I'm looking at 16.3.102 regarding 3 different ways that a peace officer may arrest a person. I understand that this is a very unique fact pattern. Is there any case law or any law specific to this situation that you want me to refer to?
No, Judge, because nobody else has ever done it this way that I can find.
Okay.
It's in every case that you look at where they dismissed or did nulli pros and come back, they file charges, new charges, get a warrant out for the arrest, and then the defendant is taken into custody. There is no case law on this because nobody does it that way.
All right, any response?
And I'm happy to. Number one, this is, in framing this is not a Fourth Amendment issue. This is not a Fifth Amendment issue. This isn't a Sixth Amendment issue. Everybody has agreed that that the procedural posture is set the way it is, and that there was a motion to dismiss without prejudice, which was filed, which was granted, which was done in good faith, which had the reasons set forth by the prosecutor in terms of being faced with discovering aspects that would jeopardize a larger wiretap investigation that was going on. In terms of the defense's gripe with both officers, essentially what he's claiming is that they are incredible as a matter of law. We've taken sworn testimony of Detective Maury, who stated that he had probable cause for the arrest. He arrested the defendant. Ultimately, charges were filed. Probable cause was found by Judge Unfug. The case was dismissed without prejudice. The DA relayed to him why that was, said that they were now ready to prosecute that individual. He stated specifically on Exhibit 11 when he sent that out. That's also corroborated in his report. He puts that he did it both ways because that's the way it works under 16.3.102, 1A and 1C. The DA took months and months and months to file it. Ultimately, he was picked up before that. In terms of Detective Zong Linscomb, it was the fact that he ran a specific date of birth, enters it in, did not see local wants or warrants, and candidly, that goes to the benefit of the defendant because had he seen those at that time, he's released and weeks go by and he's free. He's out. And it's not until Then he goes through his steps of looking when he's at the Clarion Hotel in February of 21, of looking at that, looking at the PC warrant, looking at the statement specifically in the report of being contacted by the DA, which again, there's nothing in the statute, there's nothing in case law that says all these wish lists that Mr. Ray wants of having to go through a judge or having to do those types of things or having substantial steps that are not in the statute, those just aren't found. So unless we can be pointed to something different, there is nothing wrong with the fact that under 16.3.102.1C, he arrests on PC as the warrant had not gone through the process through the DA's office. And so then I guess the issue then for the court is if you have specific questions or concerns, please let me know what those are, but I don't know what procedural rule has not been followed. And then I think the request is it's a due process violation, but there's nothing specific as to how due process was violated in any way, shape, or form according to the rules of criminal procedure, in terms of motion to dismiss, in terms of case law. There's nothing in front of this court. So I'm asking the court to deny this as a threshold matter. I think the court can rely on actually just the statute itself authorizes it. So if the court has questions, I'm happy to answer it.
Now, I have a question. Will this create a precedent, however it's ruled?
The statute itself does not say that a defendant may be arrested on probable cause twice for the same fact situation. It does not say that. It says he may be arrested. It doesn't say multiple times.
Well, I get, that's fine. It's not a double jeopardy issue either. It's not a double jeopardy. That's essentially what he's trying to argue. It was a pretrial issue. The person didn't have speedy trial implications. The person wasn't in a trial and impaneled. It was very early on the initial stages of a case where it was dismissed without prejudice. And so jeopardy hasn't attached. So we'll add that to the record. So I appreciate that.
All right, the court has considered the evidence that was presented, the judicial notice findings that I've made both from case 21 CR 308 and case 20 CR 589. I've considered the evidence presented today, the exhibits that were attached, the arguments of counsel. First, I will make the following factual findings. On March 6th of 2020, Detective Maury issued an affidavit in support of warrantless arrest, stating that he believed there was probable cause to support the arrest of Mr. Duran Marr. Mr. Duran Marr, in that case, was seen by a judge, Judge Unfug, on the same date of his arrest on March 6th of 2020. Judge Unfug found that there was probable cause to support his arrest, issued a bond and set bond conditions. A complaint and information was filed on March 16th of 2020. Mr. Duran Marr was released on bond in that case very shortly after on April 6th of 2020. That case was dismissed without prejudice, and that order to dismiss was signed by Judge Quammen. Specifically, I would note that the motion to dismiss there is a request by the district attorney to dismiss the case without prejudice. It does not cite specific reasons such that there is insufficient evidence for the people to meet their burden. There is no finding by Judge Quammen that there is not probable cause to support the case. And this is not a situation where a case was dismissed after an evidentiary hearing, such as a preliminary hearing, and then law enforcement continued to assert that they believe they had probable cause when faced with a contrary court order. Rather, this is a case where there was a motion to dismiss without prejudice that was filed by the people and granted by the court. I don't think we need to get into the question in this case of whether or not there was grounds for the people to dismiss the case without prejudice, although I will state that the people, through their exhibits in this case, I do believe have cited good cause for why that decision was made so as not to further interrupt a wiretap investigation that was ongoing. Regardless, in November 6th of 2020, at the time then Deputy District Attorney Thea Carrasco emailed law enforcement to let them know that she was ready to pursue the arrest of Mr. Duran Marr and to pursue charges again in this matter. I will note that in Exhibit 8 that was filed by the people, the request that she made of the officer, she stated that she was ready to file charges, but stated that she needed an affidavit in support of an arrest warrant and asked to convert the information from a warrantless arrest affidavit into the format of an affidavit in support of arrest warrant. I don't find that Ms. Carrasco's memo, I don't know what her subjective belief was, but I don't think that that changes that under 16.3.102, a peace officer may arrest a person either when, one, they have a warrant commanding that such person be arrested, two, a crime has been or is being committed by such person in their presence, or three, they have probable cause to believe that an offense was committed and have probable cause to believe that the offense was committed by the person to be arrested. In this case, Detective Maury testified credibly that on November 13th of 2020, he took two actions. First, he sent an affidavit to Ms. Carrasco for that to go through the formal process for a warrant in her office. Second, he sent that out through the Greeley Police Department to let his fellow officers know that there was probable cause to arrest Mr. Duran Marr. I do think that the request that he sent, or that notice that he sent to law enforcement, was authorized, noting that a judge had already previously found that there was probable cause in support of the charges against Mr. Duran Marr, and that information that he had was the same. Although he had not done additional investigation, there is no information that his investigation initially was insufficient to determine there was probable cause. To the contrary, a court had agreed that there was probable cause, and although the case was dismissed, it was dismissed without prejudice at the request of the district attorney rather than on a court issuing a contrary finding. I think this would be very different if the court dismissed the case, for example, after a preliminary hearing and the people or law enforcement continued to make efforts to arrest a person on the same matter. That is not what happened here. The officer testified credibly that his standard practice when he submits a warrant request to the district attorney is to also send the email to all of Greeley Police Department advising that there is probable cause to arrest a person in case that person is found before the active warrant takes place. Here in this case, although he sent that information to Ms. Carrasco in November of 2020, at the time that Mr. Duran Marr was contacted in February of 2021, that warrant had not yet been active. So the question for the court really is whether or not there was probable cause to believe that an offense had been committed or to believe that the offense was committed by the person to be arrested. The court will find that at the time that Detective Zong came into contact with Mr. Duran Marr on February 10th of 2021, that there was probable cause to believe that he had committed these crimes from the initial affidavit that was issued back on March 6th of 2020, that a court had previously found that there was probable cause for this arrest, and that nothing done in the case after that time negated that probable cause finding. I don't think that what happened on January 25th of 2021 is really relevant to my determination about February 10th. Detective Zong again credibly testified that he came into contact with the defendant, was provided with a Mexican identification card, that he believes that he rang the wrong date of birth.
She's just making sure to have a very accurate record because I think she's expecting this to come up again.
That regardless, nothing came up and he was not aware of any warrants on that day, that he paid more attention to the Spillman than he would have to any emails that may have come through from Detective Maury, and that's what he was relying on that day, and he did not see anything. I'm not finding that Mr. Duran Marr did anything to impact the officer. I simply don't have testimony about that he attempted to influence the officer or that he was deceptive about his birth date. Rather, this appears to have been an error made by the officer in looking at his identification card and running the wrong date of birth.
That's
on
what
February
I said.
On February 10th, Detective Zong paid more attention to the date of birth, found that there was an active probable cause arrest in the system, arrested Mr. Duran Marr on that. At that time, he verified both the date of birth and the picture in Spillman to verify that this was the same person. He further ran this through with somebody in his, with his sergeant, his supervisor, to make sure under these unique situation that he was doing the right thing. Ultimately, my specific finding here, I'm guided by 16.3.102. There are 3 different manners in which law enforcement may arrest an individual. I don't think that the law requires that one of these means exclusively be used, or that if the officer is in the process of using one of these mechanisms, such as obtaining a warrant, that precludes them from otherwise acting under one of these mechanisms.
Oh, just
The
wait.
purpose of making sure that there is probable cause or a warrant to arrest someone is to make sure that a person is not arrested without reason. Here, I think that Mr. Duran Mar was actually afforded great protection because rather than be arrested and then later have a judge make a decision about whether or not there was probable cause, at the time of his arrest here on February 10th, a judge had already decided that there was probable cause supporting that initial arrest from 20 CR 589. So at this time, the court will deny the motion, at least with regards to the contact and arrest of Mr. Duran Mar. Certainly, if this case sets for trial, we can litigate the remaining issues about any statements and searches at a later time. In light of that ruling, Mr. Ray, how would you like me to set this case today?
Let's set it for arraignment.
Okay. How far out do you need for arraignment?
Oh, probably 30 days.
Great. Any objection by the people?
No, that's fine.
All right, let me find a date for arraignment. I can offer January 29th at 10 o'clock.
January what now?
January 29th at 10 o'clock.
I can do that.
Okay. For the people?
I can as well.
All right, thank you. The Mr. Duran Mar, I will see you back here on January 29th at 10 o'clock. That next date is is an arraignment, which means my expectation is that you will either have reached a plea agreement or that we'll be setting for trial on that date. Make sure you keep in contact with your lawyer so you know what you'd like to do. Do you have any questions today?
I have one. Is the court ruling as a matter of law that a person can be arrested on probable cause, released, and then be arrested again on the same probable cause without any action of the court?
I have made specific findings in this case that the arrest of Mr. Duran Mar is lawful. All right, we will be in recess. Thank you.
Right. There you go, guys. I am sorry that one ran as long as it did and with as many words as it had. Oh my goodness. I just liked, yeah. I know, honey. I'm picking on you back. Don't take me too seriously. You know better. All right. And by popular demand,
Appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court.
Fuck that bitch! Hey! Whoa, whoa, hey! Stop. Don't do this.
grab the judge by the heels and drag her the fuck out of there because he's not going to stop.
Okay. Is she okay?
Some good ones.
Hey, can you radio somebody? Yeah, give me all the arm. Fucking radio somebody.
Okay, guys. That alarm goes off for the duration of the clip. There's still quite a bit of tussling. But that alarm continues on through the rest of it, which is that was halfway through the clip. Yeah, it was crazy. Oh, you weren't? Yeah. Yeah, I guess Ben Bateman was on the 3rd floor and this was on the 1st floor from what someone else had said. Yeah, I can continue playing the clip, but I do recommend you turn your volume down. Unless you don't mind the alarm. But I'm warning you. The only update that I heard was that the judge was okay. Oh, did I have it in reverse? I'm sorry. Thank you. You're probably the one that told me. And then I go and fuck it all up. Oh, he got her hard. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I just had it transposed. Yeah, and Chadaskadam, I'm going to be doing Clallam County. I'm hoping tomorrow. I miss it. Every day I go, what am I gonna run today? And lately it's been a lot of Lake Forest, Washington area, Thurston. I did a lot of Kansas and stuff too. So I miss my Clallam County. I don't miss cat butt in my face because I get that all the time. Hi, Earl. You're perching yourself right there, are ya? This is where you want to be, right? Oh, he's gonna get hit hard in the courts. You think he hit her hard? You just wait till the courts fight back. Yeah, she got hit bad. Oh yeah, he's sitting right here. He's watching the cursor. I'm waiting for him to attempt to attack it. So y'all, if anything comes up on the screen that or if the video pauses or something like that, just keep in mind it's Earl. Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. He wanted to get her. Oh yeah. Yeah, he thought if he thought his charges were bad. I'll back it up. I'll do it. I'll back it up so we can watch it from the start again. It's at 1:12 and then that alarm kicks in. And like I said, you might want to turn your volume down. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's gone. He is gone.
I appreciate that, but I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
Oh, man, you're good. Stop. Don't do this.
All in
Where's Mary Kate? Is she okay? Hey. Hey, can you fucking radio somebody? Yeah, give me all the hardcore. Fucking radio somebody.
Oh, Shane, man. Shane's not in the hospital.
Oh my gosh, dude. This fucking skin's hanging. No, come on. Buddy, call 911. Hey, where's Mary Kate?
She's right here. She's right here. She's right here. Yes.
Stay down. Get on the ground.
Is she talking? Yeah, right.
Oh, shit.
That's kind of natural. They don't know what to do and they don't want to be in the way. And they also don't want to get hurt themselves.
Get him to where he did it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know, maybe.
Hey, my man.
Yeah. And somebody had to also yell, call 911. Like, I almost didn't run it. Because everyone ran it. Everyone. Every court channel had that. I got so excited when I found it. I was like, I got the best clip for my chat. Oh my God. I was so excited to show all of you. And then next thing you know, it's like a couple hours later, every single channel had done it. And I'm like, well, that sucks. I don't know exactly, but all I know was the judge, what I heard was the judge said, she said, I think he needs a taste of something else. And I just can't with this history. And then he screamed, you effing B, and he flew like the pig he is. And yes, I said it. Let's look up Judge Mary attack. Let's find out if there's an update. All right, now just so y'all know, I cannot see the chat when I'm sharing screen like this. So, all right. I want to find all right. Channel 13 has obtained video of a Clark County District Court judge being violently attacked by a man during a hearing on Wednesday morning. Excuse me. Video contains strong language, violence. Viewer discretion is advised. You think? So his name is DeLeon Redden, who was being sentenced for aggravated battery with substantial bodily harm. Really? That's what he was being sentenced for. And what he did. prior to the attack on Judge Mary Kay Holthus. He entered a guilty plea in a previous hearing. The video shows Judge Holthus denying Reddin's request for probation due to his criminal history and preparing to sentence him to jail time. Reddin can be seen then leaping over the judge's bench to tackle her. He can be heard repeatedly punching her and yelling expletives while security officers attempt to restrain him. And the clerk. They don't mention that clerk? According to the Las Vegas District Court, Judge Holthus experienced some injuries and her condition is being monitored. The marshal sustained injuries and has been transported to the hospital. Wow. So the marshal got hurt worse than she did. The district court also sent the following statement to Channel 13. We commend the heroic acts of her staff, law enforcement, and all others who subdued the defendant. The court remains committed to a safe and secure courthouse and courtrooms. We are reviewing all our protocols and will do whatever is necessary to protect the judiciary, the public, and our employees. Wow, that was something. Yeah, so now you guys know. Yeah, I really, really hope that she's okay, both physically and mentally. Okay, Chadaskadam apparently said something funny. I saw the funny face. Oh, he went Robin mode on Judge. Batman and Robin. Well, actually, it's Bateman and Robin because Bateman was there. Hi, Ben Bateman. You know, sometimes it doesn't work because it's not anything more than an excuse sometimes. Mental health conditions are real. They are as real gets. And I don't know if this man has ever been found incompetent or what. But his impulsivity is dangerous. Wow. Yeah, my first thought was to send the clip to Mike. But he already had it. Oh, it's sad. Well, that's not the first time that's happened. I've seen that happen before. Yeah. Hi, Cooking with Chef Gus. Welcome. I'm sorry. I'm full of surprises. That must have been what the I think he needs something different was. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. That too. Well, we're happy to have you. That was the most exciting thing that's happened tonight. Played a heartbreaker. I played an interesting case where we got to learn a few things, and it's going to have the comment section arguing with each other about good cop, bad cop thing. And then we did a guy who isn't sure if a child is his and he doesn't want to know, but he has reasons. So that's where we're at. And then the flying pig. Yeah. Well, sometimes it's out of their control, especially when you're dealing with something like schizophrenia. And the difficulty with a lot of the mental health medications is that they work so well that the people think, oh, I'm cured. I don't need this anymore. And they just stop taking it. And that is not going to work. I don't have an answer for the mental health crisis. So I really don't feel like I have the right to judge how the mental health crisis is treated in America, but we're not doing it right. That's as much as I know. Or maybe even that we're not, and it's not even we're not doing it right on purpose. I don't think anybody knows the answer. Anybody. Like, maybe there isn't an answer, but something's got to change. Something has got to change because mental health is so broken. It is. It's the number one issue. I put it as the number one issue that every country faces, not just America, but America is where I am, so that's what I know. But the majority of the crimes committed are more mental health than anything. The majority of drug abuse is mental health more than anything. A perfectly healthy, happy individual does not go off and do drugs to escape their reality. Someone who is deeply depressed or who has gone through a very traumatic situation that they don't know how to cope with, they're the ones who do that. I've lost family members to it, to drug abuse. I've lost family members and friends to mental health. I don't know the answer. It is 100%. Yep. That's part of it. No one has coping skills. Oh, I didn't know Salty left either. But, and I wasn't gonna click on your comment. I wasn't gonna comment on your comment, but I'm gonna. Honey, if you take the guns away, they're gonna have something else. It's gonna be knives. If you take the knives away, they're gonna shave down a pointy stick. If someone wants to hurt someone, the type of weapon isn't the issue. And those do more good in the hands of the right people than they do bad in the hands of the wrong people. Overall, you look at the countries with less strict, well, look at the cities. The cities with the strictest control are the ones with the highest crime rates. Because those pretty little signs that say drug-free school zone or pew-pew free school zone, you think they work? No, they're an invitation. Yep, exactly. They're going to find a way. You can't stop someone who wants to do something like that. Mm-hmm. 100%. Well, yeah, and in some places like that, and I don't know specifically if it's one of your guys' countries, but they have like limits on like the length of blade. Like you can't even have a kitchen knife that's more than like 3 inches. I know. I wasn't planning on this. This was not part of the stream, but you know, it'll make for some interesting comments. I'm sure I'm going to have a whole lot of comments, both directions, both for that police case trial or hearing. Okay, guys, it's almost 2 a.m. My brain brokey. Yeah, both for that hearing, motion hearing, and excuse me, for the commentary. All right, guys. I need to go deep to sleep. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm gonna go. I welcome you to take the conversation to Discord. But yeah, that if I start commenting on stuff here, I'm probably already gonna get this one's probably already gonna get not taken down, but demonetized for content. I don't know how that works yet. I've only been monetized for a full day. Let's see if I can break it. Let's see if I can break it before I get it all good. Yes, good night, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you guys. It has been so wonderful having you here. Yeah, and thank you, George and Gus, for coming. Hope we didn't scare you away with the conversation. We do that here around here sometimes. But about 2 a.m. About 2 a.m. my brain starts going mush and I can't formulate full sentences and I sound silly. So all right. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I held them up, but it was when my thing was tiny. Sorry. Yeah, they put them out on the front porch, which when they do that, for one, I can't, like, when I leave my house, I can't see that because they're inside. But so I have my choice of I can either walk around my house to get to the front porch, or I can go out the front and I'd have to go down some stairs and then back up some stairs. Or I can go around my house one trip and then go up the stairs one trip. Or I can go down the stairs one trip and then around my house one trip. But I got to do 2 of one of those sets somehow. All right, guys. I am going to see what Stephanie sent Ava. There's 2 packages, Stephanie. Is that right? There's 2 packages. Wow, you freaking love that dog. I was looking for the pull thing because a lot of times these have a pull this to open spot. Oh my gosh, you guys. I gotta get the little cards out of here. Okay, it says... That's right, you said there was... Oh, it just says, enjoy your gift. We all know she will. So we got Rachel Ray's soup bones. And then we've got Purina Prime bones. And she's right here, y'all. She's never had the Rachel Ray ones. I've thought about them before for her, but I never broke down and got them. Thank you, Stephanie. Oh, well, the message just says enjoy your gift. The other... Oh, wait. Oh, it was stuck together. I'm so sorry. It was stuck to the send a thank you note one. I woof you, Ava. To the rest of the family, we're taking turns. Hee. Love you all, from Stephanie Anderson. And I bet you anything, if Ava could talk, she would tell you that she woofs you too. Because I know she woofs these treats. You're going to have to be extra freaking cute here. Wait. You've got to say thank you. You've got to say thank you. See. Oh my gosh. Thank you. That is way okay. She goes through those treats so fast. Like, I mean, as far as like eating them, I've gotten her ones that were supposed to be super tough, and they're like butter. She just 3 bites and it's gone. I don't know what to do. Like, these that you've gotten her have actually lasted. Yes, very spoiled and happy girl. Oh my gosh. Yep. Oh, Ava is the chat fave. No, that's the prime bones. That's why I didn't open those. The prime bones, I'm telling you, those the venison ones that she had the last time, man, they smelled so good. The Rachel Ray ones don't smell phenomenal like the prime bones, but the prime bones are made with like real meat and stuff. I'm sure Rachel Ray's is too, but it smelled like a meat house. It really did. They smelled so good. Like, I didn't sit there and sniff them on purpose, but every time I opened the bag, like the meat market smell would waft out of there, and it was like brought back childhood memories. Oh, any suggestions on long-lasting chew bones that are not rawhide? I like cat daddies, like Jackson Galaxy, the cat daddy. Yeah. Mama Jamma, that means you didn't get your I love you. Yeah. Oh, I bet it's all going to be good. With pasture-fed bison. I always wonder what the other option is. Because even when you go to like places where they're confined, they're still fed. Well, I guess they'd be fed like hay or something, maybe. I don't know. I told your brain is brokey. It's mush. It's too late at night. Thank you, Chadaskadam, honey. I love you. You guys are so good to me. You will know. You would know. Yep. You absolutely would know because I'd probably be sick. Cement bison. Oh, Danny 13, thank you, sweetie. I love you. You guys are awesome. I love all the green in the chat. I love the green. All of my new members. Aww. That brat. I'd have taken a super sticker for a penny. It's so cool to have you guys all as members now. That's just, that is so great. Chadaskana, make sure you have accept gifts set up in the chat settings, honey, because people have been buying memberships and gifting them, and I want to make sure you're able to get one if they do that. Hey, Emily, you didn't fall asleep, honey, and neither did I. I'm close to it, though. Very close to it. So I'm going to go before I make a total fool of myself. Okay, my loves. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.